Hi there, Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com, bringing you this week's the show formerly known as Tune In and Tune Up Thursdays, but it's now on Tuesday. So, first of all, thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure for me to be able to connect with you in this way. And I'm grateful for the time that you're taking out of your day, particularly during this season, which tends to be a little outside of our usual routine. It tends to be a really busy time with lots of things that are going on, or a time when we're choosing to take time by ourselves. So, thank you again. Happy solstice. Today is the shortest, I was about to say the longest day of the year. It just feels really long. Today is the shortest day of the year, and the evening is really long. And we are about to start heading back into the light, which is very, very exciting. So we've got lots of fun things happening this evening. First of all, if you are looking for a gift certificate for yourself or for a loved one, currently have 20% off. The information is in the comment section or also on my Facebook page. You can find those at bookingwitherin.com/gratitude.html. We are quickly approaching the second annual More Than Existing Summit, and I'm so incredibly excited to be presenting Trust Your Intuition and the Joys of Connecting with Archangel Raphael. With this most recent full moon that we've had, I've been connecting even more deeply and powerfully with Archangel Raphael to be able to share even more with you. So if you've been thinking about joining, my presentation will be on Sunday, January the 9th at, I think it's 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, but there are also lots of other presenters who are going to be offering different things throughout the course of the summit as well. It's from January the 7th, which is a Friday, to January the 9th, 2022. It's so hard to believe that we're already talking about 2022. And last but not least is the Name That Show contest that I am running on my Facebook page. So Name That Show is this show. If you've been around for a while, you know that we used to be on Thursday nights. The show used to be called Tune In and Tune Up Thursday, and I am looking for a new show name. We are coming up to the deadline. I said Friday, December the 24th was going to be the day that I pare down all of the suggestions, the amazing suggestions that you guys have shared. And we're going to choose 3 names. And I'm going to ask for your help again to help me decide which one we're going to move forward with. So this evening, I'm going to pop over to that post on Facebook. And as we did last week, I'm going to choose a couple of names. We're going to do for a video reading again. So I'm going to choose 3 people to receive a video reading. And the video readings are similar to what you see on the Tune In and Tune Up Thursday show, in that it's something where you ask a question, I go through and I do the reading for you, and then I send you the video reading of it. The way that it is different is, one, the answer tends to be a little bit longer, a fair amount longer. It's a 10 to 15 minute reading that you'll be receiving. And it's also different in that you are the only person who sees it. So I will send you a link, and only the people that you decide to share that link with will see the reading and the information, the question that you've asked. There is nothing else to identify you in it, and nobody else will see it but you. So that's what those are. So if you're like, oh man, I've thought of a name I want to share, I've put the link information in the chat section. It's, I think, the last one that I shared, because I shared the links for the 20% off and the More Than Existing Summit. So just hop over to the Facebook link, share it, and I'm going to go over at the end of the show. We're going to pick some names and give away some more readings. So yes, as I said, on Friday, this coming Friday, December the 24th, I'll be posting the names, and we're going to be drawing again for more things. The people who are in the top 3 in terms of the names that they've suggested, I've got something for each of you, and I've got something as a thank you for the person whose name that we end up going with, that we end up choosing for our show. And that will all be announced on January the 2nd. So lots happening, lots going on. I see that we've got lots of people who have joined us already. I'm going to pop through and check in with everybody. But beforehand, last week we did a little bit of a throwback that I had a lot of fun with. We did the Choose Your Crystal adventure. And I thought what we would do this evening, as we are still kind of in the tail end of the full moon releasing energy, let's take a look. And as we're leading up to the new year and the new moon is on January the 2nd. So it's a pretty big time. And so the full moon is all about releasing. It's all about letting go. And so the questions that we're going to be asking tonight: what do I need to focus on? What do I need to know about letting go, preparing for letting go of 2021 and ushering in this new energy of 2022? So this is going to be a card that is helpful for people moving forward over the next week and a half or so as we come to the end of this year. So I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Perfect. All right. So I decided to do the releasing part after I created our little slide here. So instead of think of your question, what I'm going to invite you to do is think about the question: what do I need to release? What do I need to know about releasing over the next week and a half to help prepare me for 2022? And as you're thinking about that, connect with the energy of each of the crystals there. So I've labeled them. On the left, we have malachite. In the middle, we have clear quartz. And on the end, we have smoky quartz. So just sit with it and ask, what do I need to know? What do I need to know about releasing, about moving forward, about coming into the energy of 2022? And with these questions, I usually pull the Archangel Oracle card deck, but I'm really being drawn to the mermaids and dolphins. So as we're shuffling, I'm just going to leave that up so you can continue to connect with the crystals and decide which one is right for you. So the first card that I'm pulling here, this is for malachite. This one is for clear quartz. And this one is for our smoky quartz. All right, and I'm just going to pop back here so you guys can see the cards. So the first card that we have is for the malachite people. So if you chose malachite, this is your card. And the card that we have coming up for you is Blessed Change. And this is actually one of my favorite cards. I'm going to be really honest. I have lots of favorite cards in this deck, but this is definitely one of them. So the Blessed Change card, the message here is: a major life change brings you great blessings. And if you take a look at the card, we basically have this mermaid. She's turned topsy-turvy, like her world is kind of upside down, but I don't know if you can see it or not. Even though her world is turned upside down, completely upside down, she's happy, she's feeling positive. There's lots of positive energy that's going on. And so what this card is saying is things might be feeling a little bit chaotic right now. They might not be feeling comfortable, but know that this is helping to facilitate really positive change. So if there are things that you've not been wanting to open, like sometimes we put boxes away of like stuff that we're not ready to open, we're not ready to look at. What this card is saying is, hey, like let's open it up. Let's really create that fresh start, because there are positive things that come of it. And just the energy of malachite as well is very much a transformative stone, and it's one that has a lot to do with energetic opening. So if you were drawn to this card, know that there might be some emotional things that are coming up over the next little while. Breathe into it and know that this is happening for a really positive reason. If you chose the clear quartz card in the middle, the card that we have for you this evening is Dream Big. And the message specifically is let go of small thoughts about yourself. See yourself succeeding. And my goodness, what an exciting card to get at the tail end of a year as we're heading into preparation. So this is a really great time to take a look at areas in your life where you are wanting to see some change, where you're wanting to see some positive growth, and ask yourself, how do I actually feel about my ability to create that, or the circumstances that I'm in to shift enough to create what I'm actually wanting? Are there any blocks that I'm perceiving in myself or in my abilities, or the circumstances in the situation that I'm in? This card is saying, hey, you have lots of wonderful, beautiful potential. Let's focus that energy into something that is helping to create what you're wanting. So no small thoughts. friends, let's look at what could be possible and dream big. And the last card that we have here is for the smoky quartz, those who chose smoky quartz. And the message that we have is playtime. And this is such a fun message to come up, especially at this time when there are lots of emotions, there are lots of things that are going on, lots of stresses, different kinds of stresses. The message on the card is the dolphins know the importance of playing as joy creates miracles and manifestation. So this is definitely a card that's encouraging you to take time to play, to have fun. It's not all about work. This is time to take some time for yourself, to release, to let go. And part of what I'm seeing is lifting things up and off of your shoulders. It's like wearing a really heavy jacket. So what feels like it's been pressing you down? What has been feeling oppressive? And possibly if you've been experiencing anxiety, where are those anxieties coming from? Because it's time to be lifting that off. And not only that, it's time to actively take time to play, to have fun, to do the things that you love. If something is causing and creating stress, ask yourself if it's something that you really need to be putting energy into right now, because it's definitely important to make sure that you are having fun. And part of having fun can be connecting with people that you enjoy spending time with. Awesome. All right, so let's pop over to our comments. And I should have mentioned as well at the very beginning, if you're asking a question this evening, please ask a specific question. So for example, if you're just asking love life, I'm going to skip over your question. Please be specific. What do I need to know about the relationship I'm in? Or what do I need to know to bring relationship into my life? Do I have any blocks coming up in my love life? Those are the types of questions that I can really sink my teeth into. And if you want me to use a specific deck with your reading rather, please mention it with the questions. I don't see the responses that come after. Even if you replied to the response that you gave me, the system that I'm using, it shows me the messages as they come up. So that's what I see. So the card decks you have to choose from are the green deck with which is the messages from your angels. We have the blue deck, which is the mermaids and dolphins, and we have the yellow deck, which is the Archangel Oracle card deck. All right, so let's just see. Let's pop on and say hello to everybody. And Marianne, hello, welcome. Enjoy. Thank you for joining us. And I see that you've asked for a read if we're doing it. Yeah, I am doing readings this evening, but I need you to ask a specific question. Awesome. Tanya, hello. It's wonderful to see you. Harjeet, hi. Kristen says happy solstice. Happy solstice to you as well. Tanya, happy solstice. Bring on the light. Absolutely. Let me see. Catherine, hello. Margaret, Tanya, Kimberly, Michelle, it's wonderful to see you. Ruth, hi, Ruth. Cassandra, hello. Michelle, Kristen, let me see. Toddy, oops, I'm not 100% sure about that. Let me see. We've got Ruth. Oh, awesome. Marianne, I see that you've asked a question. Thank you. Pamela, hello. And it's wonderful to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm just reminded as I'm going down, the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple of people popping on, telling people in their comments that they will give them readings and to inbox them. You are obviously more than welcome to connect with those people. They have nothing to do with me. And I find that they tend to be fairly troll-like. So when I see them, I do delete them. And at the end of the show, I'm also going to be turning off the comments so that they aren't able to continue to message people who are live on the show. So just so you know, that's what's happening and going on. Awesome. All right, let's just take a look and see. Harjeet, I love you too. I'm so glad you're on this evening. Fabulous. Let's see. Tanya, I'm so glad that you're here as well. It has been a while. It's great to see you. Wonderful. Okay, so Cassandra has our first question. Hello, Cassandra. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you as well. What should I be aware of for this coming year with my family? How can I help my children's energy become more positive towards each other, schoolwork, homework, but mostly how can I strengthen the bond with me and my children so we can continue homeschooling in a positive way? Okay, so there are a couple of things tagged into that question. Let me just see what of that is popping out so that we can focus on an aspect, an element of it. So a big part of what I'm seeing is more about the function and basically facilitation within your family. That feels like that's the energy that's really coming up. So when I tap in and when I ask, I'm feeling the need to be. There's something that is needing to be resolved within the family structure and the family dynamic, and it feels like this is something that's having an impact on everyone. And it feels like it's an area in which people are kind of shutting down, even though I'm seeing that that's not the overall intention for anybody, is to shut down and to close off. But it feels like that's part of what's happening. And what I'm seeing you doing, and I can't tell if this is something that you're doing as a family on the whole, but it feels like possibly this is something that you're working on in a one-on-one kind of way. And I'm seeing you being very much like the hub, and that other people, other members of your family are kind of the spokes in the wheel. And it feels like you're going out to each person and you're making those connections, and then that energy is intertwining and winding through. When I ask about more specific from that, I'm seeing that there's an adjustment that's needing to be made for people's individual needs. Like I have somebody who's coming through, and a big part of what this person is needing, I suspect that this is probably one of your children, and it feels like possibly a male child. But I'm seeing lots of energy coming up, and I'm feeling the need to really get that energy out. Like I want to run, I want to get outside, and like everything feels really, really big. And part of regulating that feels like it has to do with getting outside, connecting with nature, but also being able to run and having space where it is comfortable and where it is safe to be running and exploring. I feel like I want to jump. I want to experience like what's happening in my body. And I'm feeling myself moving really, really quickly in terms of like my thoughts and my thinking. And then I'm also wanting something that is very comfortable and comforting. And I'm wanting to be comforted. And it feels like there's a very tactile response that's coming up with this child. And that feels like that's something that's needing to be addressed. But the big thing is like, I need to break out. I need to break free. I need to run and I need to go. And I feel like I've got one more child that's really coming through, but in a very quiet kind of way. And what I'm seeing is the need to kind of withdraw a little bit. I'm wanting some time on my own, possibly doing things that are kind of creative and or reading a book. And it feels like this could be time that could be kind of cuddle time, but at the same time, I'm also feeling the need to really have my own space. And so, if it's possible to create a space in your home where there are possibly like cushions that can be on the floor, or like beanbag chair or whatever the current equivalent is for something like that. I'm seeing blankets being really important, and being close to warmth feels like it's important. And I'm also seeing like natural light from a window coming in as being significant as well. And so, yeah, I'm just really wanting to be cozy. I feel like I'm really needing some downtime that's really honoring like what's going on in my brain, in my body. But it feels like overall, the connection within your family is feeling really positive. It's feeling really supportive. And I'm seeing you doing a really great job. We're going to go to the messages from your angels. And I'm just going to ask, what does Cassandra need to know about moving forward into 2022 in a way that is healthy and supportive for her family? And the card that we have here is the Caressa card. And to me, this is a really deep honoring card. You are at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort you and to guide you to the next step. Happiness awaits you now. So when this card comes up, it says that we've got some conclusions that are happening, but these are feeling like things that are really positive. It feels like this is a conclusion that possibly you've been working towards, and it does feel like it's an ending of a certain amount of stress and or a transformation that's happening within the family unit. So do know that it feels like this is coming into a place of quiet time. And I'm just drawn back into the imagery. So we have the lights are really low for this angel. There's beautiful, peaceful energy. She or he is outside, and it feels like kind of a sunset time. That also feels really significant, particularly with the messages that we had for both of the children that we connected with this evening, that was really showing outdoors as being really important. And also for the second child that we connected with, that the need for a lot of mellowing, a lot of downtime, and a lot of honoring what has been happening and where they are. Cassandra, it was such a pleasure connecting with you this evening. I'm so grateful that you joined me. Thank you so much for popping on, sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you and to your family, and Merry Christmas to you as well. Okay, we've got Michelle here. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining me. Michelle is asking about grandbaby in 2022. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have coming up. So part of what I'm seeing is I've got a bit of frustration that's coming through. I don't know if you have a child who has really been trying, has really been working towards becoming pregnant, and for whatever reason things haven't been happening, or potentially partway through there has been loss that has been experienced. But I don't know if that's the case for what has already happened. But that's kind of some of the energy that I have coming through. Part of what I'm seeing is the need to kind of wipe the slate clean. And this might also come in the form of expectation from family members too. So if that is the case for the dynamic that is currently existing in your family, don't ask about kids unless it's brought up by the children that you're asking, because it feels like there is some frustration, there's some hurt, things are feeling really big on an emotional level. I am seeing that there is a pregnancy that is coming. It feels to me like we've definitely got one that's coming up a little bit later in the year. The sense that I have is that I'm seeing everything being really firmly rooted and planted. That's the way that I'm wanting to describe this. And it feels like, I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing. It feels like it's something that I'm seeing from like a movie, like somebody's holding on in some sort of chase, and the person is trying to kind of lose them, and like they just keep holding on. So I'm seeing I'm seeing that it doesn't matter what kind of ride happens. This little one is pretty bound and determined to make it into the world. So it does feel like there will be a child that is the result of something that feels like it's happening in 2022. I mean, it could be that we already have a pregnancy that's already in the works. So the answer to your question is, it does feel like there is a child that's coming about, if not in 2022, very shortly after 2022. But I do see 2022 as being a time of possibility, and you've got a very determined little baby that's coming in. All right, so we're just going to ask, what does this Michelle need to know about a grandbaby in 2022? Yeah, I keep hearing determination. And the card that we have here, this is Archangel Raphael, and it's a message of prosperity. And so, a prosperity and abundance, particularly with the imagery that we have on this card, is often something that we think of on a material level. But what I'm seeing for this is abundance in the things that you're wanting in life. So health, family, love, and children definitely feels like that's part of it as well. So Archangel Raphael's message is your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. Pardon me. So it feels to me like this is definitely a really positive card that's indicating that there is opportunity, that there is birth, that there is growth that's happening in your family in 2022. That's really exciting. Congratulations, Michelle, to you and to everybody in your family. Thank you so much for joining me. It was such a pleasure connecting with you this evening. And I hope that you and your family have a very happy holiday season. Awesome. Hello, Lindsay. It's so good to see you. Okay, so we've got Kristen here. Hi, Kristen. Kristen's saying, I feel like I'm at a crossroads in my life. Was hoping to get some guidance. Kristen, I would so love to connect with you. I don't feel like we've got a really specific question in there. If you want to ask a specific question about an area in your life, I would so love to connect with you. So yes, my apologies for not getting to your question sooner. And my intention is that we will follow up with you today. Let me see. Awesome. Kimberly saying that she chose the smoky, and Kristen said, oh, Kristen, you said that you chose malachite. Awesome. Well, things are definitely taking off for you, my friend. Let me see. Okay, so Mary Ann is asking here, do you know if we will find Michael? Let's take a look. That one's feeling like that's a pretty big question. The sense that I have is that Michael is not ready yet to be found. When I ask if you will be finding Michael, that's what I'm hearing, is that he's not ready to be found yet. Um, but it does feel like this will be a time when you do find him. And I'm not able to give you a timeline or a time frame because there's something that's kind of veiling what I'm seeing as well. Let me see if we've got some more information coming up. We're gonna go to the cards pretty quickly for you, Marianne, and I'm just going to ask, what do we need to know about finding Michael? I think that's the best way to approach this. What do we need to know about finding Michael? And again, what I'm seeing is that he's not ready to be found yet. And it feels like there's something that he's going through. Oops, we've got two cards that popped out here. There's something that he's going through. He's either needing to find something for himself or he's needing to do something for himself, but it feels like the timing isn't right just yet. And that feels like that's coming up from his part and his perspective. And the cards, the two cards that we have here are Take Back Your Power with Archangel Raziel and Archangel Jophiel with Patience. So I'm actually going to focus on Jophiel first. So the Patience card makes a lot of sense to me with the messages that came up. Her message in particular is, your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. And one of the things, the messages that I always get with this card is that there are things that we can do when we're planting a garden. Like you plant your seeds need water. So water, water, water. But you can come to a point where you do too much watering and you actually drown out the seeds. So just because something is a good thing to do doesn't mean that it's always what is the best thing to do. And it feels to me like that's part of what we have coming up here, is the need for some patience, the need to create a bit of space. The Take Back Your Power card, this actually feels like this is coming up a bit from Michael's perspective. And this is Archangel Raziel. His message is, use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. I'm seeing him being in a place where he's working towards finding himself in some way. And so it feels like that's a big part of the process and or the journey that he is on at the moment. He is finding himself, and until that happens, it feels like there isn't connection that you're able to make with him. But I do see you being able to connect with him, to find him, but it feels like it's very much going to be on his terms when he is ready. So keep doing what you feel that you need to do, but know that it feels like the ultimate control feels like it's out of your hands at this point. But do what you feel guided to do. Marianne, I'm so grateful that you joined me this evening. Thank you for popping on. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you, to family, and to Michael too, in the healing and the situation that he's in right now. Thanks for joining me. Awesome. So the next person we have here is Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Thanks for joining me. Ruth is asking, will I start a new career in 2022? Let's take a look. Okay, so 2022, when we're looking at it from the beginning of the year, feels like it's a really long time. And so I'm seeing that there's a hop, step, and a jump that's needing to happen in 2022. So there are a couple of things that you need to do. And it also feels like we're kind of stepping over some of the early months. And the time frame I'm starting to see feels like we're moving into September and October. So it does feel like there is new career that you're going to be starting, but it's not something that's going to be, I'm doing this thing one day and I'm doing this thing the next day. There's definitely a lot of work that is happening. And it feels like it's a gradual transition. So rather than like this, we're kind of going more like that. I really love the imagery that comes up for you guys sometimes. It really gives me a kick. So yes, there is change that's happening, but it is something that's going to be a progress. And it feels like it's something that you're already in the process of focusing on and working on. And I'm seeing a sense of like building self up in order to be able to make this change. And it feels like I'm kind of hesitant to completely let go of whatever it is that you've got going on and that you're doing right now. So there's definitely going to be a transitionary period, but it feels like we're looking at transition that's really getting going as we move into September and October of 2022. And that's feeling really positive. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Ruth around making a career change, whoops, in 2022. And we've had two jumpers coming out. So we've got two cards for you tonight, Ruth. The first card that we have here is the morning affirmations card. Say positive affirmations each morning to open the gates of manifestation. And this feels like it's particularly important on the days that you are working, because I'm seeing this being a really powerful and positive time for you to be shifting that energy. So if you're in work or career right now where there are aspects of your job that you're not maybe enjoying as much as you would like to be enjoying them, focus on the things that you are enjoying and let that energy and momentum carry into the energy of what you're working to create as well. So focusing on the things that you're enjoying and then allow that energy to expand. So for example, oh man, I'm really excited to be going to work today because I get to do this thing that I really enjoy. And even more than that, I'm really excited for the day that my work is taking me to do something that I love all the time. It's not just this one or two things or three things or whatever it is. It's not just those times. It's like all the time. I get to do things and I love it and I feel really good. The next card that we have here is the consultant expert card. And there's a lot of learning. And so this card says more information is needed. Contact someone with expertise in this area. So it feels like this is a bit of a research time, and also some of the foundation work that you're laying out as well. So what's involved in making this career change and this transition in your life? What are the things that you need to focus on? Is there additional education that you're going to need in order to make this transition, or are there other ways that you can start promoting transition? But to me, the two things that are really popping out here are one, there's still a little work and information that you need in order to be able to make the change, and two, your energy and your mindset about the change that you're looking at making are going to be a really significant part about how this comes together and how this happens. Ruth, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. We've got Ange here. Hi, Ange. Thanks for joining us. Ange is wondering what's happening in her relationship. It's hit a bump again. All right. And the blue deck. Perfect. Okay. So let's just take a look and see what we've got coming up. Everything feels like it's kind of shifting, and it reminds me of gold panning. And it feels to me like there are things that you're sifting out, sifting rather than shifting. You're sifting things out. You're getting rid of the stuff that, like isn't worthwhile, isn't valuable, so that you can really focus in on the stuff that is significant, that is important. And so it feels to me like you're kind of taking a bit of a step back from the relationship and the situation, and you're like, okay, I want to see how things are going to pan out. I couldn't help myself. I want to see how things are going to pan out. I want to make sure that once I get rid of all of the stuff that is, challenging or inconsequential, or possibly that it goes against me wanting to be in this relationship. Those words didn't come out right. What you're really doing is you're working towards what is left in the pan. Once you get rid of all of those things, is there enough here for you to continue sifting through more of the stuff that is frustrating? And it feels like that's kind of the point that you're coming up to is this something that is worth me investing my energy and my time? Is there enough here for me to continue to put into this? And I don't actually have a straightforward answer for you as to whether or not it is, because it feels like, one, this is a really personal and personal choice. And two, it doesn't feel like it's something that's completely up to you. It feels like, oops, we've got our jumper here. It feels like the other person who's involved in this relationship is going to also need to be doing some sifting alongside you. Like, this isn't just something that you can focus on. This is something that the other person needs to participate in as well. And that is also going to show you whether or not you guys can work as a team. So the card that we had jumping out for you is the A New Dawn card. The message is the worst is now behind you and positive new experiences are on the horizon. So, I mean, this card can come up from a couple of different perspectives. New Dawn can come up because this is signaling a new beginning in the relationship and the partnership that you have, that, the worst is behind the two of you, and you're really able to focus on the positives and like the gold in the bottom of your pan now that you've sifted all of the gunk out. New dawn can also signify an ending and then the fresh start and the new beginning. And I don't honestly have something for you as to which direction this is going, mostly because it feels like you're the one in a way who is in control of deciding whether or not there is enough gold in the bottom of the pan and whether or not there's enough participation on both sides for you. So it's very much a personal choice that's coming up here. And I can see it going either way. So, this is really where free will comes into play. There are thoughts and ideas that everything has been predetermined and pre-written for us. And that's not something I subscribe to. I believe that we are given multiple different ways that we can choose to go through the lessons and the experiences that we're going to go through. I do firmly believe that we have multiple life partners that we can connect with throughout our lifetime, and that we have free will, and they have free will as to whether or not we mutually choose each other. So it really does feel like that's kind of where you are right now. So pan for the gold, see what's there in your relationship, see if your partner is there with you too. And it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. We have Pamela here. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for joining us. She says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Let me see. And last week, Pamela asked if she'd get a phone call at Christmas, and I said yes. And will it be Christmas Day? I'm seeing things being kind of pushed off, pushed back. I don't want to say no, it's not Christmas Day, but I'm also feeling the need not to hold out the expectation that it will be. Because it feels to me like if there is expectation that it will be Christmas Day, then there feels like there will be a lot of disappointment if it isn't. And I'm wanting to encourage you to focus on the 27th, which I believe is the Monday. I believe Christmas Day is the Saturday. So I don't want to say that no, it won't be Christmas Day, but I'm wanting to manage expectation and to focus more on the 27th. And it feels like it's also going to be important not to wait on Christmas Day for the phone call either. So make sure that you're continuing on with any celebrations that you may have planned, any connections that you may be making with friends and family, because that's feeling like that's a really important thing to be putting your energy into. And that the phone call feels like it can be something that can add to what you're experiencing, rather than the idea of the phone call being something that your day is revolving around. So the expect for the 27th and hopefully be pleasantly surprised and joyful if it is the 25th. Let's take a look and see. We're going to go to the messages from your angels. We're just going to ask, what does Pamela need to know about the phone call from her special someone? And oops, we've got two cards popping out here for you as well. So the first card that we have coming up for you is Francesca, and her message is, what do you desire right now? Visualize it and it will come about. Negativity will block your progress. So that's really interesting, coming on the heels of a message that feels like it was fairly conservative and really encouraging you not to put lots of expectation. And I'm kind of reminded of the energy that's required when we do manifestation work. Rather than holding on to something really strongly, when we manifest something, it's important to let it go. Because if we hold on to it too strongly, we're basically putting fear out into the universe. And we're saying, this is what I really want, but I'm really afraid you're not going to give it to me. Or I'm really afraid. And so actually, instead of sending out the energy of what we're wanting, we're actually sending out the fear that we won't get what we want. So when you're manifesting, make sure that you let it go. And it feels like that's also possibly part of where this message is coming up, rather than focusing on a specific day, focus more on the connection that would be made. And then the second card that we had popping out for you is Mystique. The message is keep charging ahead. Don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. So it feels to me like we've got lots of really positive affirmation and confirmation that's coming up from the cards. So, whatever feels best and right for you, just don't hold on too tightly to a specific expectation and a specific outcome. Focus more on the feelings that you're wanting to experience. Pamela, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. And I'm just saying happy solstice to you too. Let me see. And Marianne, I'm so glad that you've joined us this evening. Thank you. Kimberly saying thank you. And I think that's probably in reference to the card pull. You are more than welcome. Awesome. We have Brenda here. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining us. Brenda's asking, do you see a new job coming up for my daughter, Michaela, and what it looks like she'll be doing? Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got coming up for Michaela and work. So when I ask, first of all, it feels like she might be doing a couple of different things right now. Sometimes this comes up for people because they are working multiple jobs, or they've got some sort of responsibility that feels like it's like an additional job. Sometimes this can come up around like caring for children, and that will often fall to like a mother figure, or it could be like a second, like a side job or a side business that somebody has. So it feels like there are already a couple of things that Michaela is doing and that she's focusing on. And basically what I'm seeing is like cleaning the slate, clearing it out. It reminds me of the movies in the really passionate love scenes in the offices, and they like sweep the table clean so that they can get down to business. And that's kind of what I'm seeing coming up for Michaela. She needs to clear the slate. So if there are things that she's doing that either aren't really profitable for her or her passion isn't into them, it's time to either put things on pause or let them go completely. Because what I'm seeing her really wanting to invite in is something that feels like it is bigger than what she is doing right now. It feels like it's also coming with some form of pay increase and pay raise. And I'm also getting a bit of a time frame that's popping up. So it feels like there's some sort of preparation work that she's doing. And I have an opening that feels like it's coming up in March. But what was actually coming through initially was that there was something really big and significant that was happening in September. So I don't know. September is often a time when we do see training. So there could be some training that either she's needing to do or that she's completing. And that's the timeline and the time frame that we're seeing for her. But the March kind of popped in there really strongly, and that's feeling really significant as well. So I'm kind of wondering if she might have, if there might be a couple of components to the change that she's going through. So either she's taking a position or a job, or she's starting education in March that is part of the beginning of her moving into what she's wanting. And as we start to move into September, that's where we either start to see some completion around education, if that's what we're looking at, or beginning of education, or that we're looking at what she took in March turning into the career that she's wanting. So it does feel like there are a couple of steps. I am seeing some movement that's really starting to shift and to happen as we come into like the early part of 2022, but it doesn't feel like she's really on a roll until we get into the later part of 2022. And as I said, September was feeling like that was a really significant time for her. So there are some changes that are happening that are feeling really positive, but she needs to clear things out first in order to create the space, create the room, create the energy, and create the passion to be able to make the change, because that's feeling significant as well. So we're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask, what messages does Michaela need to know around finding work and career that she really enjoys in 2022? go. So we have the alchemy card right now, and some people aren't familiar with what alchemy is. So I'll just give you a really quick rundown. Back in I believe it was the Middle Ages, the scientists at the time were working on ways to turn common metals into gold, and they were called alchemists. And so that just kind of gives you a bit of a background as to what the word means. So the card specifically says you have the Midas touch right now. Every project you begin turns to gold. So that's where that's coming from. And basically, the card is saying whatever project it is that you're working on, whatever you're putting energy into, as hopeless as it may seem on the surface, is actually something that you can turn into something that is viable, that is profitable, that is something that is supportive. And when I look at the card here, I see, so we have a mermaid and we have a dolphin, but we also have a lot of fish that are around as well. And it feels to me like the fish are actually part of what she's clearing out. They are something that are supporting her along the way. She's kind of got this seaweed here that she's holding on to, and it feels like she's making her way up the rope, up the seaweed. But there's definitely lots of support that she's focusing on, but it's interesting, there aren't any fish in front of her. All of the fish are behind her. So those are the things that she's kind of cleared out of the way. And it feels like that's a big part of what we have coming up. So, if she is focusing and working towards something right now, let her know that she is definitely on the right track. And it feels like this is definitely a time for her to be investing energy into, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be putting my energy? Is there education that I need to take on? Because this is a time when things are becoming profitable for her. Brenda, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Ryan, if you want to ask a specific question, I would so love to connect with you. We ask for specific questions on the show. So if you could ask one, that'd be awesome. Josie, hi, Josie. Thanks so much for joining me. Josie's asking for a read on her son and his upcoming surgery. Let's take a look, and happy solstice to you too. Okay. So first of all, I have a little bit of, I have a small bit of anxiety that's coming up around this, and I'm not sure if this is if this is coming from you or if this is coming from your son. This feels like this is pretty healthy and normal kind of nervousness. Like, I'm not seeing anything that feels like it's really crazy, because it does feel like it is an involved surgery. It doesn't feel like this is something that your doctor just does in the office. I'm feeling something where we're going pretty deep, or we're going to be knocked out for a while. And and what I'm seeing is I've got Archangel Raphael popping up really strongly, and that feels like he's coming through for a couple of different reasons. One, I'm seeing Raphael really watching over your son during the surgery, during the lead up, during the after time. That's I don't know if there are concerns around recovery for your son, but it feels to me like the recovery is going to be fine and that he's going to have the resources that he needs to recover well. So the focus for me is actually really coming up on after the surgery as opposed to heading into it, or even during it. The surgical team that I'm seeing coming up around him, they feel like they're well supported. And I'm seeing them feeling refreshed going into the surgery as well. So it doesn't feel like they're tired, or it doesn't feel like they've had a long night the night before. They're feeling positive about the outcome of the surgery, and they're feeling very competent. And I'm seeing that there is a lot of help, love, and support that is present during the surgery itself. And as I said, the focus to me is actually coming up more on after the surgery. And again, what I'm seeing is that your son is going to have the resources that he needs in order to go through the healing process. So I don't know if with the extent of what I'm seeing coming up for the surgery, I expect that he will need to take a little bit of time off work, particularly if he has a job that is physically demanding in any way. But it feels to me like, again, he's going to have the resources that he needs for the recovery and in the healing process. So he is in good hands, Josie. And again, I have hands flashing before me, and the hands, they're feeling competent. They are strong, they are steady, and they are sure. We're going to go to the big guys. We're just going to ask, what does Josie need to know around surgery for her son? Let's just see. All right. So this is interesting. The card that we have coming up here is relationship harmony. This is Archangel Raphael. And honestly, I wasn't expecting this card to come through. So let's just see what we have. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. So I don't know if there are any challenges that either your son is experiencing in other relationships or if there are challenges in the relationship that you have with your son, but it does feel like there is healing that's happening there. And basically when I look at this card, everything is feeling very peaceful, but also very alive. And here, I'll just show you the card a little more here. It feels to me that there's a peaceful power here. And I love the way that the angel wings are around the angel, because it feels like there's a lot of support that's there. You know, we often hear about people who are in recovery place experiencing angels or deceased loved ones or spirit guides. And I kind of wonder if that's part of the experience that your son is going to have as well. And so this would be on the tail end of surgery as he's coming back into awareness, into our physical world, that there are experiences that he may have during that time. And I'm seeing it being a time of a lot of opening for him. Josie, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you, and asking Archangel Raphael to be with your son, to guide him through his healing journey, and to guide the surgical staff and team who are going to be working with him, that he has the best care possible. Let me see. Oh, Michelle says, thank you so much. I have not been opening my mouth to them about it. That's perfect. Michelle was asking earlier about grandbabies. That is perfect, because there was a lot of stress and frustration and pressure that was coming up that they felt like they were experiencing. So yeah, just let them do their thing. Danon, if you have a specific question, I would so love to ask for you. But we do specific questions on the show. Pam, asking about healing readings. I'm not exactly sure what it is that you're referring to with that. I do healing work in the readings that I do with my clients one-on-one, but there's not too much that we do specifically around like releasing things during the readings that I do on the show. I can certainly ask about things that you might need to be aware of to focus on in the readings that we do on the show. So I'm not exactly sure what it is that you're referring to there, but hope that helps. Let me see. Oh, I just see here, Marianne, I'm really glad that you put this extra information in. Marianne was asking about finding Michael, and she's just said he has been missing, and they don't know if it is an accident or mental health. The messages that I had coming up feel to me like it would indicate mental health. So from that perspective, that was part of where he was needing a bit of time and a bit of space. But I do feel you finding him, and it feels like it's going to be on his terms too. So I'm just if we could all just take a moment to send some love and some healing to Michael, that he has all of the resources that he needs now and through the journey that he is on. It feels like he might be in a place where he is needing some help and love and support. And also to Marianne and all of Michael's loved ones too, that they have the support and the reassurance that they need moving forward. I'm so glad that you popped on, Marianne. Thank you. Awesome. And we have a thank you from Cassandra. It's always a pleasure connecting with you, Cassandra. Thank you so much for joining. Let me just see. Perfect. Okay, so we've got JC here. Hi, JC. Thanks for joining us. JC's asking about work. So let's just take a look. Specifically, she's asking, how is my work? So when I tap into work and when I ask for you, I'm seeing all of your I's being dotted and T's crossed. So it feels like there is a certain amount of attention and precision that's required in the work that you're doing right now, making sure that I'm wanting to say that procedures are being followed. And again, I'm seeing like the dotting of the I's and the crossing of the T's. So the work that you're doing right now, it feels like you're doing it well. It feels like it is supportive. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it being in a really good flow. I'm kind of torn because on the one hand, it feels like there could be opportunity that opens up for you to either move into something else or to kind of slightly switch the work or the tasks that you're doing. But I'm feeling you being pretty comfortable with where you are, and it feels I'm feeling kind of disinclined to make any really big changes. So work feels like it's in a pretty good place, a pretty positive place overall, and it feels to me like you're continuing along as you are. As I said, if you are wanting to make a change, I am seeing opportunity being available to you. But I'm not sure that it's something that you're going to pursue, either because it's more than what you're wanting to take on. And again, like I just keep going back to this feeling of comfort that you're comfortable with the work that you're doing. And it is allowing you to focus on the things that you really enjoy doing or the people who are important to you. So I'm seeing it being something that allows you to take care of yourself so that you can focus on the other things that are important. Let's just ask what messages, whoops, we've got coming up. And of course, we had a jumper this evening because that seems to be kind of the theme. And the card that we have here is Treasure Chest. So that's always a really positive card to come up when we're asking about work. An unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now. So it feels to me, I mean, certainly this could be something that's coming up from a financial point of view. And if it is, it feels like it'd be something that would be kind of a one-time thing. So either some sort of bonus, or that it is something that is giving you more time, more flexibility. And so possibly this position that I'm seeing is something that is something that you are wanting, but again, it feels like it's not impacting your time. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that. There is an opportunity that's coming up. I'm just not sure if you're taking it or not. But it does feel like it's positive. It's kind of a win-win situation for you. You win if you stay where you are, and you win if you take this other opportunity. So it's a place that many people I know would want to be in. So I'm seeing it being fairly positive for you overall, JC. It's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay. Oh, Pam, perfect. Pam saying, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung and adrenal cancer. In 4 treatments, it was all gone. In a few months, it will be 5 years. Okay. Need to know if I'm still healed. All right. Well, let me see what I can ask about. So first of all, I really need to be clear that I'm not a doctor or medical professional. So please, if anything does come up for you, go and see a medical professional. To make sure that everything is okay. And that's feeling pretty miraculous too. Uh, when I ask and when I tap in, I do feel like there is a weight that has been lifted and everything feels like it is heavy or was heavy in lungs. And I do see that that is where you're a part of where you were experiencing cancer. It feels to me, I'm not feeling any need for concern. However, as I said, please err on the side of caution. And if anything is coming up for you, if anything is feeling outside of the norm, outside of the usual, please check it out. Because what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is if there is something, the sooner that you catch it and jump on it, the faster you're back into recovery and things are feeling good. But as I said, I'm not seeing anything that's coming up, and it feels to me like you're in a pretty good place. And I'm kind of wanting to celebrate. So as you said, in a few months, it will be 5 years. Make sure that you're doing something to really celebrate that, because it feels like this is something to celebrate. Let's take a look. We're going to go to the Archangel Oracle card deck. These are the big guys. And we're just going to ask, what does Pam need to know about her health and well-being? And that's actually how I'm going to focus on it. I'm not going to focus on specifically on cancer and on recovery. What do you need to know about your health and well-being right now? And oh my gosh, the card that we have here is Archangel Michael, and his message is you are safe. I am protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and your home. I don't really feel that I can add much more to that. What I would say though is if something was coming up for you, and if you went to the doctor and if they found something, Archangel Michael is saying, we've got you. And we're supporting you, we're helping you. But the sense that I have is that this is a confirmation of the existing health and well-being that you are experiencing right now. And that is feeling positive. But as I said, please, if you have any question or anything pops up, pop in and see your doctor just to double check. But it feels like you're in a good place. And that's really exciting. Pam, I'm so grateful that you joined us this evening. Thank you so much for popping on, sending big hugs, lots of love, healing, and support your way. Lori, if you want to ask a specific question, I would so love to do a reading for you this evening. Yeah, we do specific questions on the show. And Christina, if you want to ask a specific question, I would love to tap in. Christina's asking, I want to know something about what's going on with my life. I need a specific area in your life to tap into. I know the readings that I do are different from what a lot of readers do. A lot of readers will pull a card for people and they'll do a reading from cards. I'm not a card reader. I read cards, but I'm not a card reader as my profession. I'm a psychic, and when I'm tapping into somebody, there are so many avenues that I could go down and I could explore, that it's kind of like walking into a huge abyss. And when you ask a specific question, what it does is it gives me a direction that I can point into and I can focus on, because I only have a couple of minutes with each person. And instead of giving you a bunch of like really vague messages, I want to be able to give you something that you can really run with. So that's why I ask for a specific question. Oh, Eileen, Merry Christmas. I did receive the gift that you sent, and I actually popped something in the mail for you the other day. Thank you so much. It was so lovely, and I am so grateful for you, and I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. I'm so glad that you popped on this evening. And Veronica, happy holidays to you too. I hope that you're well. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Christina's asking, will I stay in my current location? This one's a bit of a tricky one, because location can be a couple of things. This can do with like home and living, or this could also do with work. So I'm going to focus more on home and living. And what I'm seeing is that you will for a little while, but this is not a permanent place or a permanent spot for you. I am seeing a bit of a move that's coming up. It's also popping in that the move itself may be temporary. So sometimes what comes through for people is they are going to a new place, a new location, and this might have to do with work. It could have to do with partnership. It could have to do with schooling opportunity, but then they come back to the place where they currently are. And so I'm not completely convinced that you aren't leaving and then coming back. But it feels like there's some sort of need to have like a bit of stability, or like a rock that you can like hold on to. And it kind of reminds me of swimming and having that point that you can jump off from. And for some reason, it feels like that's part of the location where you are right now. Feels like it's a bit of a jumping point. You need to go and do whatever it is that I'm seeing you doing. And then either you're coming back and you're kind of settling back in and you're putting down roots, or you're completely unrooting and you're off. And I'm not entirely sure at this point what it is that you're doing, but there is some form of move that's coming up. And it does feel like there's something that you are leaving behind where you currently are right now, but then you're coming back and you're I think you're probably uprooting it. It feels like you need to hold on to that stability and support for right now, but you're getting ready to like just pull out altogether. Let's just ask, what does Christina need to know about staying in this current location? And we're going to the mermaids and dolphins for this question. Interesting. So the card that we have coming up for you is the protection card. And this is actually a really powerful card, and also makes sense to some of the messages that are coming up in terms of needing to leave something behind, because there is a safety aspect that was coming up with that. And the message we have here is you, your loved ones, and your possessions are safe and protected by heaven. So know that you aren't alone, and that if you are having a problem or a difficult time making this change, this shift, and this adjustment, know that there is help and support that is available to you. Either that's happening on an external level with like the people, family, friends, or other people who are helping and supporting you. But also to know that, God, source, angels, ascended masters, whoever you like to work with, whatever you believe in, to know that they are with you, helping and supporting you, and helping with any of the transitionary challenges that you may experience too. Christina, I'm so glad that you popped on and asked a question that I could jump into. That's perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and support your way. So we've come to the end of our of the readings for the evening, but we do still have the draws that we're going to do. So as we talked about at the beginning of the show, we have a contest that is running right now on my Facebook page. So my Facebook page is Heavenly Messenger, at facebook.com/Heavenly Messenger. And on there, we have the Name That Show contest. I shared the link for that in the comments up at the top. And I'm just going to pop over. I'm going to refresh the page. Let me actually see if I can share this page with you guys. That would certainly be handy. Share screen. So hold on. Before we do that, let's close some of these windows because I've got a lot of windows open. Oops. Thank you all for your patience. Okay, share screen. Share screen. Whoops. Entire screen. And yeah, so you guys right now are seeing the back end, what I see during our show. So we've got the Let's Name That Show post. And I'm just going to scroll down here and going to make sure that I can see all of the comments that we have. More comments. Perfect. Good. Wonderful. So the replies, yep, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you can't see me right now, but I've got my eyes closed and this is the name that we are, oh, that's mine. So hold on. The one right immediately below where I had stopped is Brenda. Oh, Brenda, you were on the show this evening. I am so glad that you popped on tonight. So Brenda, if you want to send me an email, that would be awesome. I'm just going to put this here. And you have reading number 1. And I will send you the information about that tomorrow. So Brenda, you are the first winner for this evening. Let's take a look. Where are we going to next? So I'm asking for this person here, and I've got my, whoops. Here we go. And that was for Josie. Awesome, Josie. I'm so excited. And you were on the show this evening. I believe I do have your email address. Yes, I do. But you have won reading number 2 for this evening. So I will send you an email tomorrow. And then our last reading, and I've got my eyes closed. I know you guys can't see that, but I'm not specifically choosing anybody. So here we go. This is the person that we have. Oh, I ended up back at Josie. Okay, so hold on. Let's just take a look. So our second person here is, oh, that's me. And that's Gwen. She's already won. So hold on. One more we've got right here. That's me again, and Brenda. So I was responding to Margaret's message. So Margaret, you have won reading number 2, and I know that I do have Margaret's email, so I will email you tomorrow. Awesome. I will just turn the screen sharing off. Fabulous. So to the winners of this evening's free video readings, congratulations. And thank you so much for the suggestions that you've made. That's Brenda, Margaret, and Josie. I'm so incredibly excited to connect with you. And as I said, I will email you tomorrow morning before I get started with my clients. So if you don't hear from me, please do email me. And Brenda, I don't believe I have your email address, so please send me an email. Yes, so if you are looking for a gift certificate for yourself or for a loved one, I have 20% off gift certificates for the rest of 2021. You can just hop over to my website, bookingwitherin.com /gratitude. And that's important because it's only gift certificates purchased on that page. I don't have it available to the general public. So hop over to bookingwitherin.com /gratitude. And if you can't remember that, it is in the top of the comments here on this stream. And it's also on my Facebook page. I believe that it is the post that I have tagged to the top. The More Than Existing Summit is only a couple of weeks away, and I'm so incredibly excited to be sharing information about trusting your intuition and the joys of connecting with Archangel Haniel. In the next couple of days, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. And again, I've got the information at the top of this post. I think it might be the third message. And you can either purchase tickets or find out more information about the More Than Existing Summit. It's a really exciting lineup of presenters talking about lots of different things, but basically we're looking at more than existing in our lives. How do we do that? And it's certainly a really powerful time of year to be doing that. And again, we still have a couple of days left. If you have a name suggestion for our show on Tuesday evenings, I'm going to be doing that final draw of the 3 names, and then I'm going to ask for your help in voting on them. So I will have more information about the time. I haven't quite decided what time we're going to be posting that, but I do hope that you will pop on and share any names that you have. I will go through and I'm going to be pulling a couple more people to give readings to. And over the next little while, I've got some more ideas for readings. And I think we're probably going to be offering a couple of body code sessions as well, which is a form of energy healing. So I'm really excited about that. And again, please, if you have suggestions for names, I would love to hear them, and hope that you will also help me decide and come together on the name that we're going to move forward with. Happy solstice to you. Sending you big hugs, lots of love. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. If you celebrate something else at this time of year, happy holidays and many blessings to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com, and I will see you next Tuesday for the show formerly known as Tune In and Tune Up Thursdays, but that is now on Tuesday night, that is awaiting a name. I'll see you then. Take care, my friends.